2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 First Drive Review. The 626 HP, 190 miles per hour SUV. Bentley's strong-selling SUV gets a mid-cycle makeover. This is more than just a casual mid-cycle refresh of Bentley's strong-selling SUV. Every single exterior panel of the 2021 Bentley Bentayga, apart from the roof and the doors, is new. So, too, is the infotainment system and all the switchgear and vents at the center of the dash. And although a quick read of the spec sheet suggests much of the hardware is carried over, our first drive of the 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 reveals an SUV that feels subtly refined and improved throughout. The 542 HP V8 is the first of what will be a three-model Bentayga lineup revised and refreshed for the 2021 model year. It will be joined in the first quarter of 2021 by the top of the range, 627 HP, 12-cylinder Bentayga Speed, and in the second quarter by the Bentayga Hybrid, whose PHEV powertrain comprises a 335 HP single-turbo 3.0-liter V6 working with a 126 HP e-motor to produce a total system output of 443 horsepower. Although the US, along with Russia and the Middle East, remains a solid market for the W12 model, the V8 will account for 70% of the 5,000 or so Bentaygas Bentley hopes to sell worldwide next year. Of course, that number depends on how fast the global economy recovers from the nightmare of 2020. 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 Exterior. In the metal and out of the camouflage, the exterior redesign gives the 2021 Bentayga a muscular, broad-shouldered look. In back, the wider rear track, the wheels have been pushed out 0.4 inch each side, and the new clamshell tailgate with widely spaced oval rear lights make it look less overbody than the previous model. It looks broader and more imposing from the front, too, thanks to a wider grille flanked by headlights situated further toward the corners of the redesigned front fenders and a front bumper with large vents at its outer edges. It's all a trick of the eye. The 2021 Bentayga is no wider overall than its predecessor. The new bumper's front and rear trim 0.6 inch from the overall length, but all the hard points are unchanged. Overall height is still 68.6 inches, and the wheelbase is still 117.9 inches. And the MLB Evo platform architecture on which the Bentayga is built, originally developed by VW Group's sister company Audi to accommodate front-wheel drive and four-wheel drive with longitudinally mounted front engines, means the Bentley SUV still has a short dash-to-axle and long front overhang when viewed from side on. Standard wheels are 21 inches, with 22s available, including an all-new design that will be exclusive to Bentayga for the 2021 model year. Two new colors, Viridian, a dark metallic green, and Patina, a mid-tone greenish beige, are now available as an option. 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 Interior. The interior makeover is clever because it delivers high visual impact for relatively low cost. The fundamental architecture of the dash, a big-ticket item in terms of tooling costs, is unchanged. The new 10.9-inch touchscreen, used in the Flying Spur and Conti GTS as well as sundry Porsches, along with the redesigned central vents and new switchgear, occupy exactly the same piece of real estate in the center of the dash as the old screen, vents, and switches, obviating the need for expensive tooling changes. Other changes include a new configurable digital instrument panel in place of the old analog speedo and touch, and redesigned seats and door trims, all of which have transformed the interior ambience. Forget the stuffy English gentleman's club metaphors. Sliding behind the wheel of the 2021 Bentayga V8 is like walking into a renovated Georgian townhouse with mood lighting and modern furniture. Rear seat passengers have been given slightly more knee room thanks to a rear seat that has been moved slightly rearwards and has a more upright backrest and can now control various functions via a remote touch screen similar to that used in the Flying Spur sedan. Apple CarPlay is now standard, and Android Auto is available for the first time in a Bentley. How much does the 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 cost? Offered with a choice of 7 standard exterior colors, 5 standard leather colors, and 2 standard veneers, the 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 has a base price of $177,000. But it doesn't take much playing with the brilliant Bentley configurator to quickly spend a lot more. You can pick from a staggering 85 optional exterior colors, 10 optional leather colors, and 8 optional veneers, not to mention a selection of performance and appearance packages, none of which are cheap. Our tester was fitted with the $42,430 first edition specification package, which bundles together the optional active anti-roll suspension, the upgraded 1780 watt, 20-speaker NIM audio system, and the heated and cooled 22-way comfort front seats, and will be available only for the first year's production. Other options included the $4,815 all-terrain package, which adds 4 off-road drive modes: mud and trail, sand, dirt, and gravel, and snow, ice and wet grass, and underbody protection, the $7,125 Black Klein exterior trim package, which turns all the shiny exterior chrome shiny black, the $2,250 Sunshine package, which adds a front side window sun visors and rear side window blinds, and the $11,220 4-seat interior package. That's a cool $67,890 in extras, enough to buy a couple of 2-door 2021 Ford Bronco Big Bends with change to keep each of them gassed up for 6 months. How fast is the 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8? Under the hood of the 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 is the versatile Porsche-designed 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8. Developing its 542 HP at 6,000 RPM and 568 lb-ft of torque from 1,960 RPM to 4,500 RPM and driving all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission, Bentley claims the engine will take the 5,400-pound Bentayga V8 to 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds, to 100 miles per hour in 9.9 seconds, and to a top speed of 180 miles per hour. It feels every bit that fast. A Bentley engine should be all about locomotive-grade torque, and the twin-turbo V8 doesn't disappoint. The Bentayga V8 wafts around town amiably at little more than a whispery idle and quickly slips into the highest possible gear while cruising on the freeway. Not that many Bentayga owners would worry about such details, but we saw an indicated 22 mpg, US, while cruising at 70 to 80 miles per hour, which is reasonable for a big, bluff, luxury SUV. In Bentley mode, the default drive mode, the Bentayga will coast when you lift off the gas, the engine revs dropping as the car rolls on kinetic energy. Flex your right ankle, though, and a deep purr, like an old lion sleeping off a good lunch, swells through the cabin as the Bentley surges down the road at a remarkable pace given its not inconsiderable mass. From 2,000 RPM to 5,000 RPM the engine gives you all the thrust you could want, when you want it. How does the Bentley Bentayga V8 ride and handle? Bentley mode is the best all-round driving mode, and unless you're in a playful mood on a playful road, it's best to leave the Bentayga there. Depending on how many tight corners there are, you might want to tug the shifter on the center console into manual mode and use the paddles to select the gear you want on corner entry rather than wait for the 8-speed auto to figure it out once you go to throttle again. The ride doesn't have the plushness of a Range Rover, but there's enough squidge in the suspension to take the edge off the bigger vertical impacts, and the optional active anti-roll system keeps the Bentley flat through the corners. The body motions are not as deftly controlled as they are in the new Aston Martin DBX, which benefits from being 2.4 inches longer in the wheelbase and weighing 386 pounds less. For that reason, if the road's a little open, allowing you to maintain higher speeds through corners, you might want to grab sport mode to stiffen the suspension. You'll occasionally notice a touch more side-to-side pitch, but it's a trade-off worth making to keep that big body on a tighter leash. Although the Bentayga is, subjectively, quieter than the pre-facelift model around town, there's no disguising the fact that it rolls on giant wheels and low-profile tires. The wheel control is pretty good. Our test car was not as pattery as some air-sprung rivals on 22s, but a touch of low-speed impact harshness from the 285/40 Pirelli P0s was evident over gnarly roads on our drive route. That said, the Bentley's low-speed ride refinement is better than that of any AMG-tweaked Mercedes SUV. Another low-speed niggle: the aggressive brake tip-in means you have to learn to modulate the pedal before you can consistently bring the Bentayga to a smooth halt in stop-and-go traffic. The weakest link in the 2021 Bentley Bentayga's chassis is the electric power steering. It's light and relatively direct, which is good for low-speed maneuverability, but, sadly, there's not a ton of feel once cornering loads start to build. You can sense the variable ratio system is hard at work turning tires with a big contact patch and stiff sidewalls on a front axle that carries 56% of the car's weight, almost 3,000 pounds. But you have little sense of what is actually happening where the rubber meets the road, which is critical, because it's from here the Bentayga's entire dynamic repertoire is defined. Yes, the Bentayga is effortlessly fast. But it doesn't really flow down a winding road, even with an accomplished driver behind the wheel. It's not exactly point and squirt, but there's no question the nose-heavy Bentley prefers to break the road down into a series of discrete dynamic problems and solve them one at a time. There's always the sensation that a lot of computer power is working behind the scenes, stitching it all together so forward progress feels almost seamless. In truth, few Bentley Bentayga buyers will care too deeply about the finer points of its dynamics. What's most important for them is that the Bentayga looks like a Bentley, especially inside, and that it drives with the resolute thrust and imperious gravitas they expect of a vehicle carrying the famed winged bee badge. And the 2021 Bentayga V8 does exactly that. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.